establishment of quorum, we do have a quorum here.
Now you.
Missing is Mark Hallett, and that's it, right?
There you go.
All right. Have the minutes of the last regular meeting were posted. Anybody have any comments on the last one? It's pretty straightforward on it. I'm trying to get this one to be a short meeting so that we can have time to get ready for the 11 o'clock meeting this morning. There shouldn't be a whole lot to do. If everyone is okay with the minutes, I need a motion to accept the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second?
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any comments? Anyone have any questions? Those in agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Treasurer's report. Rick.
Yeah, I have no clue. I
You're
printed
on
everything
camera,
out
by the
that
way,
they
you
sent
realize
me,
that,
and
right?
none of it looks like what last month's was, so.
Well, it's not supposed to look the same.
Well, there still should be a balance sheet and have the regular stuff as far as how many lots and all the rest of that, but I don't know where to get that information, so.
Did you get the short version on it?
I got both, yeah.
Okay, the balance sheet's on the first page.
Yeah, but that's, anyway.
All right,
Do you want me to pull it up? I can.
I've got it.
You got it?
Why don't you just get an overall summary then of balance, and
I just have last month's, I don't have.
you don't have 531?
I got it right
I
here.
got a statement. That's a bank statement, but that's not gonna do any good. Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
You want me to read it, Bill?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We've got a total operating funds right now of $42,243.80. We've got our reserve accounts gone up a little bit to $3,687.24. That's for future projects. Liabilities, we're at $3,163. So total liabilities and equity, we're at $46,041.04. Our expenses, our income last month came in at $4,115.40.
Looks like, but I'm seeing when I printed it.
Our administrative expenses, $1,747.28.
This is everything from.
We paid off a bunch of our legal fees, and that was $10,333.83. Total expenses, $13,317.78. Right now, our net, see, I didn't bring my glasses, so, because I am no longer treasurer and I don't need glasses anymore. Right now, our income, we are down $9,934.78 because we did pay off a bunch of legal fees. But am I reading that right, Bill? I think I read that right. And other than that, I don't see
Did you put the
Delinquencies are about, what, $9,200?
for those right now.
like 9185 and payments that were still owed?
So, and that's fairly normal for this time of year. People are just catching up, so. Am I missing anything else that anybody wants to know about? I think I opened the long form, so it's gonna take me a while.
The financials on it, we're kind of rushed on it because they obviously close on the 1st, and PDS was actually nice enough to get us a copy like by Friday on it, which they normally don't do. They usually take 4 or 5 days to do it, so we haven't had a chance to totally digest it. It will be posted on the website, so you can look at it and have any questions on it. And that'll be the norm for sure next month because first is on Saturday, so they won't even have a chance to do it till after the meeting. We'll try and get a preliminary just to say what's in the bank account, things like that, how much we may have spent on it. But then the financials will be posted within the next week on it. So, all right.
I wonder, can we ask them, I can appreciate the mess when they just sort of dump whatever they have, but if we asked them to simply prepare a summary, kinda like the short version or something that they do?
Well, they do, they send a long and a short, I made a mistake of opening the long
So,
version here,
But today, for today, we don't have the final ones, right?
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
we do.
Yes, we do.
That's what I said, they,
Okay,
I
okay.
I
They were
just
nice enough to
opened,
do
I
that
opened
for
the
us.
long version, so I was having to
The
scroll
final
through
ones are
it.
posted on the website,
Yeah.
so everybody has that.
okay, so they have been posted.
They're actually really super detailed with all their, I mean, they're great accounting. I'm
My
really.
point is just if we had a high-level summary to use at the meeting, which is admittedly first Saturday before they have a chance to do the finals, and if enough for us to present, and then the finals get posted on the website, then we just have, you know, whatever the,
What I asked her for this week was, I said, can you just do a trial balance on it and get that to us, or
Yeah.
let me know the top level of the bank accounts and things like that. And she just went ahead and said, I'll get it out for you, so, we'll have to see what they can do for us next month on it,
I'll work with Rick for next month. I'll show him what we look at.
but, okay.
But they post a real summarized form, and then they post a long form for anybody that really is that nerdy that wants to go through it all.
They can't see that. The long form contains delinquencies, that's why.
Yeah, the big form has confidential information in it, so. All right, any other questions on it this morning? And if not, we'll just move that to file then. It does not have to be approved. Building plans, nothing came in this month on it. Correspondence, nothing really has come in. There was a question about the park, some concerns with foxtails growing in the park area. We're gonna go ahead and spray, get a specific weed killer for that. A lot of people like to have the dogs in there to run around on it. So we'll take care of that as well. Nothing current on project tasks on it. Roads and grounds, we do have the asphalt now. We did some repairs on the bigger holes this week. Dano and I went around on Thursday to try and look what may need to be actually paved from Mid-State. Rick and I are going to go out there first of the week on it and see if he's in agreement with that. Then we'll have Sun State out and take a look and see pricing to get some of that stuff fixed on it. One of the issues we're having is with the concerns about it is with the ditches and stuff, because they're getting covered up. We need to do something with that. And part of the conflict, I guess, we have is people that have built new houses. They've put in their own culverts on it. And the question is, that's something that we should ask the homeowners to do as we clean out these ditches for better drainage, or is that something we should take into account? So we'll have to have some discussion on that at some point in time. So.
If I'm not mistaken, the culverts actually are on the community property, so that's the responsibility of the But- association.
Yeah.
I think kind of correct me if I'm wrong, anybody knows about construction, but I believe that when you do a construction project, let's say you have a house you're gonna build, and you wanna put the driveway in a spot that's different than where the original culvert was put for access for that property, that's on the builder, that's on the owner and builder as their, as part of their project. I mean, that's, in cities or anywhere else you go, they always put that on Rick, the project, so, many of the lots don't have a culvert currently in them if they're not built. It's just, there's no pipe opening.
Right.
So
But if
when
it's
they
not-
build the driveway, they have to put the culvert in, that should be the association.
Agreed. And the other thing is, we do have people that don't have culverts that are living there.
Yeah.
And the question would be, what do we need to do with that? And that's gonna take some further discussion on
Well,
it.
so
Sarah?
when, in my short time working for the police department, I took a lot of calls about neighbor disputes about drainage and water running in from one property to another property, and I learned a lot about the legalities of it. Mostly it's a civil issue, so that if your property's not properly draining and it's going into somebody else's house, you know, it's really between the neighbors to try to work it out and be civil about it. And, you know, if it's, say my property's flooding and it's going into my neighbor's house, me being a good neighbor, I should dig a French drain or dig some, you know, and get it to go to where the culverts are. I'm fairly certain our culverts that are on our easements, that's our, as a community association's job to take care of. We as a loving community have always kind of taken care of them. You know, I think Steve Nord was the one that noticed that one of mine had been crushed, and that's why my basement flooded, and he's like, dude, get your daughter out there, or not your daughter, your son out there, and pump up the culvert. And so it's up to us as neighbors to help each other out and help those, you know, we have to not expect that all of us old fogies can take care of it, so, but the easements are ours, the drainage on properties, between properties, turns into a civil issue, and so it really turns into being a good neighbor and figuring out a solution, so.
I got a comment.
Yes,
With a construction permit, we're shooting ourselves in the foot by not requiring plans to be submitted here. Everybody says, well, the county they only have to meet county code. Actually, when it's submitted in through the board here, we can simply put on their submission that they need to meet the county drainage code with whatever they build on a lot. We're letting a lot of people build houses without any anticipation of a need to be satisfied as far as our drainage plan. And there is a drainage plan for this subdivision.
Yeah.
And people that ask the county about it wind up finding what it is. That's how I sized my pipe off my neighbor's new construction and retrofitted it.
Is county being more diligent about checking on that? I know that.
No,
not at all.
that's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
it needs to be, we need to still ask for a plan to come through Beaver Valley so that we can put on the specifications on there for drainage to be met.
okay. So again, we'll have the issue of as we start to claim these, for the houses that already have a driveway and no culvert, and we come through and say we're gonna put in a 3-foot deep ditch, good luck getting across, but.
But that's our easement, and we have to do it as a neighborhood, it's, for us to survive, we have to take possession of our easements to do what's best for the entire community. And I'll fight that, I'll die on that hill.
Do we
So-
have any current, we're talking about a situation, I don't believe we have any current issues for. But we do, one of the points Bill brought up is that we have an issue of maintenance of the existing culverts.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that drainage plan so that whatever we do it according to the original design drainage plan.
And it used.
That's our large issue right now. We have culverts that, you know, some people take wonderful care of what's the front of their, it doesn't matter who owns it. I mean, I consider that part of the front look of my, for my property, and a lot of people do the same thing. Some people have done things like lined them with stone, things to keep them filling. Other people have done nothing, and they've simply grown and filled with debris and things like that. So, no doubt, we need to do
It used to be our fire
we
equipment.
need to do some, and this was done in the past through Forrest Miller or someone who we'd hire, and we've talked to some contractors about doing that, where we'd go through and, like, some of the culverts are filled in with sediment that's basically part of the drainage. Sand is in there, we need to remove it, and we need to fill in other ones maybe that have eroded deeper. So that part, that's a maintenance thing. The other issue we're talking about is a new construction thing. So, but we don't actually have anyone asking us to put a culvert in right now. But
Well,
I think it's something we ought to figure out.
We have in the past fixed culverts where we had a blockage, we dug them up, and it was, for instance, plastic pipe that had just unraveled. And in doing some of the repairs around here, we saved culverts that we took out and then went ahead and put in, say, a metal culvert that we had that met the need.
Yeah, and I agree, I think it's something we need to do on it, and there are houses that don't have culverts right now. And so when it's flowing down, when it rains and snows, it's coming into the road and starting to eat it
Yeah, and
away.
sometimes that's because the culverts are plugged that are there
I'm
too.
tied to ones that are specifically no culverts, so those are some of the things we'll have to address on it, and we can do that as part of the maintenance on it, just say,
And I will vote that we spend whatever, not whatever money, not just throwing it away, but I do think it should be a part of our budget. If we don't have a fire department that's willing to do it anymore, somehow we as a community need to spend whatever money it is to just keep up on it, you know?
Okay. And, we can bring it up again when we have a little more discussion on it
Yeah,
and
get
actually
some bids. and
vote
get
how we
some-
wanna do that one. When we were talking to Will, what's the mountain?
Willie, Black Mountain.
Black Mountain, he said I can get you a tractor and a driver for $80 an hour.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
we can target some areas and start doing that.
I think
Okay,
it would,
okay.
I think it would make a lot of neighbors very happy if
Yeah.
we just spend.
And now that we've got money coming in again and not going out, we should be able to allocate more and more, so we'll be working on that one.
And I think our maintenance, and I would actually include this in this effort, is the areas upstream of each of our crossings. When we get somebody to do culvert maintenance, we also get them to, now, to his credit, Mike Armstead has actually done that for the south crossing, but I don't think he's done it for the north crossing. And a lot, this record winter we had has moved a lot of material down, and the north crossing, it's, Jimmy was, he was good at moving it immediately in front, but it really needs to be cleared farther up there to prevent it from just simply filling in again. So when we get a contractor, it'd be easy enough to get that done as well.
And the other thing we'll look at this week is, there's a few spots that absolutely need to be paved this year. Not as many as I thought there'd be. Most of it can be done with patching on it. And so we've got that covered, but we may want to put more money toward the, doing the ditches and culverts. this-
Especially, they say it's an El Nino year, so if we're expecting unprecedented rainfall for another year,
Yeah.
we've just gotta stay on top of it, that's all. It's-
So we'll have answers for the next meeting for everybody on what we think we're gonna do or target that way on it. So, any questions out there? Okay. Old business, 11 o'clock today will be the presentation by the representatives of Pinnacle, and they're the consultants that are working to find sites for communication towers. So hope you guys can all stick around for that. New business, as part of working with PDS, we do not have to do a audit every single year. We do what's called a compilation, which means that a CPA looks everything over. They're not looking for fraud. If something shows up that they have concerns about, they will address it to us on it, but they're just looking to see if the numbers look like they're supposed to be. I've got a bid on that one. We use this company, it's called Butler Hanson, and they will do that at the same time. They will do our income taxes for the year on it. The cost for to do the compilation will be about, I think it's like $585, and then let's see, last year I think it was about it was $895 for the taxes. So we will need to get a motion on that to approve those
Has
total.
anybody had a chance to review this?
It's what we've been paying.
Yeah, it's just a
This is the
standard
same
contract,
company
it's
we've
what we
been using
use
for
with
2-3 years.
PDS and their program on it, so, we can table it if you want.
I think you should distribute it to the board so we can review it.
Okay.
Rick, I pay $2,000 a year to do my company taxes, so that's a pretty good deal, but
It's basically the same as it was last year, so.
I don't know what I'm voting on.
You're approving the money that,
You got 6 pages.
well, there's two different contracts there, and it's just basically saying what they're gonna do on it. So, the compilation, we know is not gonna be an audit.
I know, at a high level, I know what it is. I just think that
Okay.
you'll have to distribute that to the board
I can
before
get
you
that.
ask us to vote on it.
That's fine, we can do that. We'll have to have a special session on it because they'll put off the time, and they said if we don't get it by the 16th, they'll put off, it could be after October
So
before.
we just found out about it now and it needs to be
A
done.
couple weeks ago I got it, and I just thought it was,
it's the same financials we've been doing for the last 3
right,
years.
so. But we can do that on it, we'll just table it for right now then. All right, member comments? Okay, next meeting then will be July 1 on Saturday.
Will we be late on our taxes if we don't approve this?
No,
No?
no, we'll have an executive session on it. To get that done. And again, using them, they're in partners with PDS, so I assume we're getting probably about as good a price as we're gonna get on it. That's their price for small and medium businesses on it.
Does anybody else on the board need to see that? Can we vote on it? If you vote, you're done, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm okay to vote on it.
Okay, need a motion for that?
Bill,
Yes,
can I just say something?
I'm
So-
sorry.
So we're a nonprofit, not a nonprofit corporation, but a nonprofit HOA. Our tax return is one page. It's an 1120S. It's one page.
Okay,
So it's not rocket science.
all right.
And this is just what we've been voting on for the last 3 years, Rick, so nothing's changed. I think it maybe went up $85 this year. So I don't know what's shocking about it at all, and it's a pretty darn good deal, so, I don't know, I'm ready to vote on
You
it.
wanna make a motion on it?
I'll move to approve it.
Let me just run back to the point of discussion. So I'll vote on it. As Sarah, you've looked at this and you've done this before. I just think as a point of the way we ought to operate is that when things like this happen, we need to all see them because, you know,
Agree.
but I think you can go ahead. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm just, I hate to have
We
things
need to
just
take care of
pop
today.
up.
Rick's point's valid, but
I
I don't wanna
agree.
hold, I don't wanna
I've
hold
sent
up
out
to
all
the
the,
taxes
you know,
on it.
you guys have got more mail than you knew what to do with probably, with looking at the contracts and stuff this last month with legal and stuff, so I thought this was just as kind of straightforward, so that's my apology on that one. So, second on that one?
I'll second it.
All right. More discussion on that? Any concerns out there on it? Okay. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and I apologize for that. Any, no member comments today? All right. Move to adjourn? So moved. All right. Thank you very much.